So Bitcoin, especially Ethereum and all of crypto are continuing to bleed. But I want to give some forecasting analysis. So in this video, I'm going to go through Bitcoin, Ethereum, give some price predictions, and I'm going to give you some altcoins that I'm just looking at for a specific bounce that may be leaders going into the next bull market. I know it's early, so anything can happen, but just looking at the charts every day, you start to see some altcoins that are not pulling back as hard. And I'm going to illustrate two of them in this video. Sorry for the lack of upload, guys. I'm currently going through my exams at the moment, but I want to give this really good video out to you guys because I know that there's a lot of people concerned over the market. There's no shortage of videos when it comes to crypto. And I know that I have a bit of a loyal fan base and I enjoy making these videos. So if you've been waiting for this market update, this is for you. So let's start off with Ethereum because this really is the headline of it. In my previous video, I talked about Ethereum bottoming out about that high in June 18th, which was around that $1,477-ish, that high in 2018. Of course, we had basically a clean cut, it looks like on the monthly, where we're going to start dipping below it. So at the moment, this is acting as a bit of support, but you can already see we're just barely getting past it at the moment. Why is Ethereum down? Ethereum is down because of the Celsius network, which has SE, which is a synthetic version of ETH, having a depegging between its real ETH. So people are doing a combination of shorting and longing it to manipulate the market in order to get a better or guaranteed return, sort of like arbitrage. And that's what's causing Ethereum to go down. Of course, why is Bitcoin and all of crypto down? And that is that because the CPI index, the inflation numbers, came out higher than what was expected by the US government. That means the Fed is going to increase interest rates and increase further tightening. And the market is, in my opinion, probably overreacting to the news at the moment, but it seems like they're expecting more pain to come. The good news is that with inflation being so high at the moment, you're going to expect a pullback at some point. And if we have a look at the inflation numbers, you will see that they can only go higher for some amount of time before they start pulling back. So if we have a look here, here's the inflation numbers of America on the monthly, and you can see it's currently sitting at about 8.6%. Expect that to start going down at some point. Again, much like crypto is going up, they will have a pullback. This is the same thing. We're just going up at the moment with inflation in America, and it will be a pullback. And of course, expect interest rates to continue to rise from America. Of course, America is the global leader. They are the biggest economy. So even if you don't live in America, you still have to understand that they are the biggest economy in the world and everything gets traded in US dollars. So therefore it affects all other economies and has a big ripple effect throughout the world. Of course, let's bring it back to Ethereum and let's give some price predictions on where I think it can go. I want to be careful when I give my predictions. I'm happy to give predictions and just say, oh, I wonder where I think it's going to go. But just be aware that there are so many variables happening in the world at any one time, especially at these times with Russia, Ukraine, China. You've got Sri Lanka doing their own thing too. You've got the American economy as well. There's just a lot of things happening in the world, a lot of bleakness. So it's very tough to say when these things are going to boil over and we can start going for the next run of the bull market. Of course, the way to know with a bear market is you will eventually get accumulation. So if you look at Ethereum, the area that I've circled is accumulation. So this happened basically from December 2018 up until July 2020 when we started to go on this meteoric rise, this exponential growth from basically there to the high of an increase of about 2,000% just for ETH alone. So what that tells me is that whenever there's accumulation, it will spend long, drawn out periods where the smart money is clearly accumulating for the best possible prices. And then the next bull run starts and it goes up very, very quickly, very, very hard. Of course, no one can time these things. All we can do is look at a chart and try to predict where it's going to happen. And that's what I'm going to do in this video. So let's have a look at Ethereum. Like I said, the support at around that $1,400 looks like it's crumbled. We're currently sitting at around $1,250 for it. I do expect it to go to $888 roughly. That's this red horizontal line where there were old tops in March 2018 and May 2018. So that's a possible area of support. Of course, you can find support earlier. It can even break through these supports and start going down lower. But I think that $900-ish mark will be an area of key support for Ethereum. So once we start going to that $1,000 limit, we'll start to see some true support come in. Again, anything with a 10 in front of it has a big psychological factor in it. So anything with $100, $10, $1,000, anything like that will have a lot of support. It's going to break it, put massive fear into the market. And then we'll start going, I think, around that $850 to $900 region for Ethereum. And at that price, would be a very attractive buy for myself anyway, of course. I don't know about your situation and whatnot, but ETH is still a very good crypto. It's been around, it's proven, it's been around for multiple years. And institutions love this thing. And during the bull market, it generally outperforms Bitcoin. Of course, right now it's underperforming Bitcoin because we're in a bear market. That shouldn't come as any surprise to anyone. But I want to ask you something and what I asked myself. Would you feel good going to the next bull run with a lot of Ethereum? Say you could have 10 Ethereum. Would you feel good owning that 10 Ethereum going to the next bull run? I promise you that most of you are probably thinking yes. And that is because you know Ethereum will probably go to its all-time high. Not all altcoins will go to their all-time highs. If you know my channel, I talk about this a lot. Chainlink, EOS, Litecoin, a lot of these cryptos never got to their all-time high. They peaked out in around first half of 2021. They were never able to get there again. Not all altcoins get to their all-time high. Solana might not. Cardano might not. We have to see, of course. But Ethereum and Bitcoin will definitely be the leaders in the next bull run. They are the alpha and the omega, the alpha and the beta. It is going to do it again. So if it hits to that $900 price and we go up to the all-time high again, that's about a 470% increase from if it were to hit at that price rate. How long it can take, it's anyone's guess. If I had to estimate, I think the US will start getting inflation under control and we will start having a long, drawn out, low volume, boring ass accumulation for around 4 to 6 months. So I reckon that this is going to probably start playing out in about August to September-ish, that America is happy that inflation is decreasing, what they're doing is working. Okay, the markets might pump a little bit, but it'll start going down, and it will just be a lot of up and down ranges, showing that accumulation is happening. So you'll start seeing something like this bottom chart. Again, keep an eye on this. This is basically what's going to happen, but somewhere around here, potentially. Again, you'll get a very, very long drawn out leading up into 2023, when we will probably have the next phase of the bull run. Anyone's guess if it's going to be first half of 2023 or second half of 2023. But I think it's pretty safe to say that anyone who is predicting any sort of bull run in 2022 is probably wrong. I don't see 2022 having any significance. It's not to say we can't go lower in 2022 or we can't go higher. We can, but again, we'll have 2022 is just an accumulation period. Again, look at this. This is it. This is what 2022 is going to be. Second half of 2022 is going to be that. It's going to be just a sideways grind on low volume, showing that there's no interest. YouTube videos down, retail down, news reports saying how crap crypto is and how down it is. But if you stick through it, you will get those awesome, tasty gains. Everyone in the bull market buys these really risky coins, expecting to 20,000x by the end of the month. That's not how it works. The way it works is by going into the bear market, being brave enough to dollar cost average into good coins. And for me, that's only Bitcoin and Ethereum for now. And as you start to see the coins break out, then you can start looking at them. So that's what we're looking at for ETH at the moment. Of course, let's have a look at Bitcoin. So this is the monthly chart on Bitcoin. Excuse the weird vertical trend line. I don't know why I like to do that with some of the trends I draw, but excuse that vertical trend line. Of course, what we're looking at is a break of those June and July lows. There's the May low that came in around 25K, broke it, and we're sitting at 24K. We are definitely most likely going on to at least 20K for Bitcoin. It will be a very big surprise to me if Bitcoin does break 20K. It could maybe go to 18, 17 just to cause that mass fear while they gobble it up, and we could go sideways again. So normally what likes to happen is there will be a bit of a support. It might dip a little bit below it, but then that's what the smart money likes to buy because it's just broken that support. It's a nice, good, fearful area to dollar cost average for the smart money. As retailers, we don't have that luxury. We have to wait for the sideways movement to occur. But unfortunately, there's going to be more pain for Bitcoin on the way. I don't see this happening. We'll probably get 1 or 2 more lows, so massive lows, and then we'll start forming a bit of a base. It's just hard to imagine Bitcoin going down beneath 15K. I know some people like calling it that. I don't see it really dipping below 15K. Anything's possible. Again, it's hard to forecast these things. Anyone who forecasts these things, it's very, very difficult to predict all the markets because it all hedges on America's inflation at this point. And who knows how long that's going to take, and who knows how long this Russia-Ukraine war is going to cause with the petrol prices and fuel prices. Europe has an energy crisis. Who knows how long these things are going to play out? No one can predict it. This is just what I'm trying to say, I guess, is that it's more of a bigger picture than just Bitcoin finding support on a 4-hour chart. It's more bigger than that, and that's why I'm using the monthly chart to really see a bigger picture on where things can play out. Of course, it will take some time for us to go lower. I anticipate for the next month or two, like I said, June and July, potentially August are going to be down months, and then we'll start forming that base. But again, happy to be wrong. We have to predict it, and we have to see how the market goes on. In terms of the 2 altcoins I mentioned earlier, these aren't recommendations at all. I'm not saying go out and buy them. Altcoins are incredibly risky at the moment. But just in terms of a chart, these are probably holding up the best. My first one is FTX. I've talked about FTX a while on my channel, and this is one of the ones I'm really looking at for the next bull run as a potential leader going into the next phase of the bull run. Now, this coin did peak in September 2021, so it peaked earlier, but you can see it still has those June and July support levels, which not a lot of coins actually have. A lot of them have broken past it. But the fact that FTX is still about, what is that? Probably looks about, 15% away to get to that support level from June and July, or maybe June, May, and a bit of July. That is a very, very strong coin. You can see though, if it breaks that level, it will be free falling quite low. So your risk is quite high. But what do we know about FTX? It's an exchange. Sam Bankman-Fried, SBF, is a genius. He's going to lead this team. It's well run. It's going to be definitely a leader going into the next bull run. I have no doubt about it. And you can just see on a chart that it's not breaking down as bad. It's not to say it can't. Maybe in 2 months we start testing down to that $5, $6 region. And that's why I say I'm not happy to recommend anything at this point. But it's just something to look at a chart, the fact that it still has its June and July support levels there, while other altcoins have broken down so bad. So something to look into at around that, give or take $21.50 mark. That will be a very big support for FTX. And if it takes a month to get there, 2 months to get there, that could be a very nice base to start forming off before we start going to another all-time high, potentially for the next bull run. And you're sitting at about, what is that? That's about 300% almost increase from if it were to hit that 25 mark at $21.44. Again, just some rough numbers. The last coin is actually Cardano, ticker code ADA, the people's coin. Everyone talked about this coin hitting $10 by the end of 2021. We all laugh at that now. But this coin is starting to form some sort of a base, it looks like, while other altcoins are bleeding. Now, you can still see it's a downtrend. You're probably thinking, what kind of base are you starting to form? But what you're looking for is the volume to start drying up a bit and the selling basically to show that it's done. So if we have a look at, say, in the month of April, around 3.277 billion units of ADA was traded for the month of April 2022, and it fell down about 34%. Of course, then in May, we had even higher volume. So we had about over 8 billion units of ADA traded, but then we had a drop of about 17%. This was in May, and May did bleed a lot of coins. So already Cardano fell 17%. A lot of altcoins actually dipped below it. Then we have the month of June, and we have 30% down on some decent volume and about 3.64 billion units of ADA as well. So the volume is still increasing. The selling is starting to go, but you can see that there was a bit of support coming there for May. So we have to see what happens in June and July. But it is something to note that if it starts holding this level of about 34 cents per Cardano, you might actually be able to have it. And there's the support coming from 2018 as well at play that at around that 40-cent mark. So should Cardano hold this level, it could be a leader going into the next bull run, and you're about 600% away from the all-time high with Cardano. It's not to say it will get there, it can't break it. It can definitely break below 10 cents, but it's just something to show that these support levels are there for now, and we have to see how it goes and how we start seeing that accumulation period that I had. So again, Cardano, you can see right here, this was accumulation. This whole range was just accumulation before we just shot up. So you can see it. You can spend months just going sideways, being boring. My crypto's not doing anything. But this is where risk comes in. How happy would you feel holding Cardano going into the next bull run? Do you think it would be a very, very good thing? Do you think it would be a bad thing? I'll leave that up to you for you to decide. But again, what you're looking for is accumulation. You're seeing the selling stop. You're seeing the volume dry up for the selling, and you're starting to see some stronger closes. But that won't happen for at least another 2 months, like I said, until at least August before I think this might dry up. But again, some charts to keep an eye on. Keep an eye on Cardano, see where the support comes. If he breaks those support levels and he breaks that high from May 18th at around that 38-cent mark and that support level that we had in May, then this thing is going to free fall, and we are definitely going to do it below 20 cents per Cardano. So something to be aware of. It is incredibly risky, as you know, when you start looking at it. A lot of altcoins will continue to bleed, unfortunately. You're seeing some really good strong ones like AVAX, Arweave, EGLD, Solana. All of these have completely broken down, and they will continue to break down, and they might even break down to single digits. Stop thinking in terms of a dollar value and percentage. Start thinking in terms of a time frame. Again, everything hinges on Americans' inflation rate and their interest rate and what's going to happen with that. And again, once there's a bit of good news that, okay, inflation has actually reduced, what we're doing is working, that's the sign that you're probably starting to see accumulation range starting to form because the bad news has stopped. And once you start hearing Russia and Ukraine maybe starting negotiating, or Europe is starting to get their electricity back, once you start hearing that little bit of good news coming into it, you might start to see crypto start to have a bit of a bounce and a bit of a dip and some accumulation. That's really the pattern I'm looking for going in. But of course, it's very, very hard to see when that's going to happen given this time period. It's not ready to call it multi-year bear market yet. I think that's a bit extreme. We have to take the information as it comes, but that's just a bit of food for thought and a bit of rambling from myself. If you like the content, hit the subscribe button, give me a like, help the channel grow during this bearish period. My subscribers have completely plateaued, but that's because there's so much fear in the market, and I completely understand. But until then, everyone, stay safe out there, and I will catch you on the next video.